to Deep Sleep Stories. Thank you to everyone who's been listening. If these stories help you relax or fall asleep, a short review, comment, or sharing the podcast with someone who might benefit is a simple and meaningful way to support the show so that we may continue to offer it for free. Now, take a slow, gentle breath and let's begin tonight's story.
Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories, where each gentle tale offers you a doorway into peaceful rest. In this quiet space, you are invited to set aside the concerns of the day and slip into a soft moment of calm. Tonight, you will wander through the hushed paths of an ancient woodland where the great Sherwood Oak, legendary home to Robin Hood, awaits. Before we begin, take a slow, deep breath in and then exhale with a sense of letting go. Feel the muscles in your shoulders soften and allow your body to settle into whatever surface is supporting you. Imagine each breath as a soothing wave that washes away any tension, leaving behind only a tranquil awareness. Here, your worries can rest on the edges of your mind as you prepare to enter a warm and welcoming story that whispers of lush greenery, gentle breezes, and timeless tales that wrap around your heart like a cozy blanket. With your eyes closed or softly focused, invite the gentle hum of your breath to lead you deeper into relaxation. You might notice your heartbeat slowing just a bit, matching the unhurried rhythm of evening creatures drifting off into slumber. Let the echoes of the day grow distant, replaced by a quiet hush that feels safe and comforting. As you slip more fully into this restful state, know that you have nothing to solve, fix, or manage right now. The only task is to float along, lulled by a calm story set among the towering trees of Sherwood Forest. And now, with your body heavy and mind open, let us begin our soft journey into the realm of Robin Hood's Sherwood Oak. Long ago, though not so far away, there stood a regal oak tree within the heart of Sherwood Forest. The oak had witnessed many seasons of gentle growth and patient quiet. It grew broad and strong beneath the golden sun, an enduring symbol of peace in a tranquil woodland. Sunbeams would often filter through the canopy, dancing upon the forest floor in shifting patterns of light and shadow, like a slow waltz between day and dusk. Nearby, a shallow creek wound through the mossy undergrowth, its waters murmuring a lullaby that matched the hushed pulse of the forest. Deer meandered among the ferns, nibbling softly, while birds sang unhurried tunes high in the branches. The forest, though centuries old, wore its age gracefully, carrying an air of timeless wonder that whispered of legends long known to the land. In that corner of the forest, the fabled Robin Hood was said to have rested with his companions. The oak, with its sturdy trunk and sprawling roots, had provided refuge and a sense of belonging for weary travellers seeking its shade. At dawn, shafts of sunlight warmed the thick bark. At midday, a lively chorus of birds would fill the branches. Come twilight, lantern-lit gatherings might have occurred nearby, though never loud enough to disturb the forest's natural hush. The oak itself stood in quiet watch, enveloping all beneath it with a sense of gentle guardianship. even on windy nights, its branches swayed without protest, offering a lullaby to anyone fortunate enough to nestle at its base. Its leaves shimmered and whispered stories of old, a soothing conversation that only the forest creatures understood in its entirety. Each day began in peace. The morning dew formed tiny droplets on soft emerald leaves, reflecting the pastel hues of dawn. A gentle haze often hung in the early light, giving shape to slender beams of sun that drifted through the tall pines. The only sounds at that hour were the faint rustlings of woodland creatures stirring from slumber. Squirrels stretched their tiny limbs and ventured out onto branches in search of breakfast, while robins hopped across the leafy floor, pecking at seeds scattered by the breezes. Every movement felt unhurried, as though time itself were walking with bare feet on moss, unwilling to rush. The forest woke with a graceful unfolding, reluctant to break the tranquil spell of the previous night. In the heart of this patient wood, the great Sherwood Oak stood as if protecting a secret. The trunk bore small nooks and hollows, places where a curious heart might imagine past travellers stowing away precious keepsakes, perhaps a string of beads, an old letter, or even a humble wooden flute. Those hollows also served as cozy hideaways for woodland creatures when winter arrived. A mother squirrel might bring her newborns there, safe from the chill. Gentle breezes sighed against the bark, telling tales of compassion and warmth, whispering that all who approached came in peace. Each caress from the wind carried faint echoes of laughter, and the quiet hum of reassurance passed down from one season to the next. By midday, the forest would glow with a soft vibrancy. Leaves shimmered in a tapestry of green, touched by the sun's kind light. You could almost see dust motes drifting in slow circles, suspended in beams of golden clarity. The hush of the morning gave way to a gentle chorus, the trickle of distant streams, the flutter of birds taking flight, and the soft hush of ferns brushing together. In that midday lull, time stretched out like a lazy cat in a patch of warm sun, content to linger and doze. A kindly old forester sometimes appeared in the dappled sunlight. Though no one knew the exact day he first discovered the oak, they say he'd wander by to check on the ancient tree's health. He wore a simple cloak and carried with him a bag of seeds. Whenever he passed, he would scatter them along the forest floor, offering nourishment for future saplings. Birds would perch along his path, watching his careful steps with a mild curiosity. He never bothered them, and in return, they serenaded him with a soft symphony that spanned from robins to thrushes. The forest seemed to welcome him like an old friend, parting brambles and low-hanging branches so he could move without hindrance. Under the sheltering branches of the Sherwood Oak, the forester might rest a spell, pressing a calloused hand against the coarse bark, as though thanking the tree for standing watch over the land. The days rolled along, stitched together by a serene sense of continuity. In summer, the oak wore a thick crown of leaves, offering shade so comforting that travellers would pause to sit beneath it, savouring cool breezes. In autumn, the leaves blushed in burnished gold, floating gently to the earth in a rustling carpet that crunched softly underfoot. Even in the quiet cold of winter, the oak's grand silhouette offered dignity and calm, a silent promise that warmth would eventually return. Snow draped over the sweeping branches like a hush over a sleeping child, and still the forest heart remained steady. The hush of the wind carried a different note then, crisp and clean, hinting of huddled animals in burrows waiting for spring's bright call. Legends suggested that Robin Hood once spent quiet evenings under this very oak, planning kind acts for the needy or simply resting after hours of roaming. But in this gentle telling, there are no chases or daring escapes. Instead, the forest memories cradle a sense of peaceful watchfulness, a time when folks who passed by needed only to listen to the wind in the leaves to find a brief refuge from life's cares. The oak, ever still, welcomed each visitor with the same abiding calm. There was a sense of acceptance in its gnarled roots and broad trunk, as though telling all who approached that they could unburden themselves here. To breathe in the sweet scent of earth and moss was to realize that nature, in its quiet resilience, could hold many worries without complaint. On certain afternoons, small animals gathered around a patch of sunlight near the oak's roots. Squirrels performed playful leaps, while rabbits peeked out from behind clumps of grass. A fox might watch from a distance, eyes half-lidded in a languid vigilance that only forest dwellers truly master. If a gentle breeze carried the warmth of the day, squirrels would pause, lifting their little faces to the sun, as though offering thanks for that moment of comfort. Overhead, the leaves occasionally trembled in conversation, giving shade where it was needed, sunlight where it was welcomed. Once in a while, villagers from the outskirts of Nottingham ventured into the forest for a peaceful retreat. They'd bring quiet laughter, a flask of tea, or the simple delight of a well-worn story to share. Children, in wide-eyed wonder, would tiptoe around the thick roots of the Sherwood Oak, half hoping to spy a hidden doorway to some secret realm. Their elders would remind them in hushed voices that this was the famed tree from legends past, its bark etched with the gentle presence of those who came seeking shelter. Parents and grandparents might place a hand upon the trunk and close their eyes, as though reconnecting with something ancient and comforting. In those tender moments, the burdens of everyday life seemed to drift away, carried by the rustling wind and the hush of leaves overhead. Late in the day, as the sun angled lower, beams of soft gold filtered through the tall trunks, bathing the forest floor in gentle luminescence. Shadows lengthened with deliberation, creating patterns across winding paths. The animals gradually grew quieter, as though preparing for dusk's lullaby. Birds found their perches, offering a final series of calm notes before falling silent under the coming twilight. Even the stream's babble seemed to soften, harmonizing with the subtle hush that gathered under the branches of the Sherwood Oak. In that quiet shift between day and night, a sense of belonging curled around anyone who lingered. The forest breathed in unison with the gentle hush, all living things settling into an evening of contented rest. When twilight descended, it draped the canopy in a subdued glow. A soft purple hue spread across the sky, and the first stars began to shimmer between the leaves. With each star's appearance, the forest gently exhaled, as if releasing the memory of daylight. Moths fluttered in search of moonlit blossoms, their wings glimmering like pale lanterns drifting on the breeze. Now and then, an owl's soft call echoed among the branches, floating on the air like a lullaby for any who cared to listen. Within this hush, the Sherwood Oak seemed to stand watch, a silent sentinel, guiding creatures and wanderers alike towards slumber. If one leaned against the trunk, the gentle texture of the bark felt like an embrace from an old friend, steady and reassuring in the quiet. On one particularly peaceful evening, a small lantern glow appeared on a winding path through the woodland. A travelling minstrel, weary from the road, arrived at the foot of the oak. He carried no grand plan for entertainment that night, only a desire to rest and collect his thoughts. Placing his lantern on a flat rock near the roots, he settled down, closed his eyes, and let the forest's hush wash over him. The breeze tousled his hair, and in its gentle stirring, he caught the faint melody of some ancestral lullaby. Instead of strumming his lute, the minstrel allowed nature's song to serenade him. In time, he nodded off, resting in the quiet presence of the ancient oak. In this forest, it seemed that every living thing had a place in the gentle cycle of breath and calm. Come the stillness of the midnight hour, starlight filtered down, glinting on dewdrops that were already forming along leaves and spiderwebs. Each dewdrop caught and reflected tiny galaxies, as though the forest cradled 1,000 starry nights within its own quiet folds. The oak, unmoving yet ever alive, absorbed the moon's silver glow and gave it back in soft silhouettes on the grass. Once in a while, the far-off cry of a night bird rippled through the hush, but it never startled the night into disturbance. Even the grass seemed to breathe in tandem with the slow hush of the breeze. In the intervals of silence, the forest seemed to hold its breath, as if savouring the delicate hush that only the small hours of the night could grant. Dawn would come again, as it always did, gently peeling back the curtains of darkness with pastel hues. But for now, in the tranquil heart of Sherwood Forest, time felt no need to hurry. The oak had stood through generations of dawns and dusks, untroubled by the rush of human schedules or the noise of busy roads. It simply existed, solid and comforting, reminding the woodland creatures and the occasional traveller that peace has its own steady rhythm. To sit beneath those branches and listen to the sleepy hush of a forest at rest was an unspoken invitation to align one's own heartbeat to that quiet tempo. In this unbroken stillness, the spirit of Robin Hood's oak lived on, not in tales of bravery or cunning, but in a simpler legacy, the gentle gift of pause, a reminder that even within life's swirling demands, moments of rest and silent wonder can be found. Sherwood Forest did not judge the passers-by. It simply offered a place to breathe slowly, to set down one's cares, and to dwell in the healing presence of ancient trees and living earth. Now, dear one, let every trace of your day melt into the serene hush of this nighttime forest. As you imagine yourself drifting closer to that ancient oak, allow your breath to become slow and steady. Inhale the comforting sense that you are welcomed exactly as you are in this place of quiet history and gentle acceptance. Exhale, and with each out-breath, let your thoughts dissolve into the softly rustling leaves, free to wander off into the infinite calm of star-flecked skies. Feel the weight of your body sink deeper into rest, as though your muscles recognize it is safe to let go. The hush that settled over Sherwood Forest now settles over you. Each inhalation fills you with tranquility. Each exhalation carries away any lingering tension. In this space, there is nothing you need to accomplish. The story has woven its final threads around you, offering a warm, soothing blanket of comfort. You might hear the memory of a gentle breeze stirring in the treetops, lulling every creature, and now you, into a state of deep repose. As the night grows quieter still, let your eyelids feel heavy, inviting sleep to cover you the way moonlight once kissed the venerable oak. The forest, the stream, and the old legends are all at peace, and you are part of this tender moment. Welcome the sweet darkness that offers relief and renewal. When you are ready to drift away, let the distant echo of a faint lullaby guide you. Imagine each note as a soft step into a deeper dream, carrying you past the edges of consciousness into a place of total ease. The forest stands vigil, offering its calming presence throughout the night. Let your breath remain gentle and calm, and allow yourself to be carried into the realm of healing rest. Good night, dear traveller. Sleep well. Let the whisper of Sherwood's ancient leaves cradle you in a gentle embrace. May you find comfort, warmth, and serenity in the quiet hours ahead, tucked within the timeless shelter of this tranquil forest. Sleep deeply, sleep peacefully, and may the echoes of the old oak's lullaby gently follow you into the sweetest of dreams.